Hey guys, what's going on everybody? My name is Ripjaws and welcome back to my channel. In this episode I'm going to show you guys how the tone equalizer module works, and I'm going to show you guys how to use the mask version of this one as well. Let's go. And here is the image that we're going to work with. I'm going to show you guys the end result right now by moving this slider to the right. And the reason I can do this is because I've already taken a snapshot of the last step. So that way I can just move a slider from left to right. So this is very dark, very dull. You don't see anything of the motorcycle over here. And then in the new version we can, and her face is much brighter as well. I'm going to make sure that this photo is available for you guys in the description down below. I've talked it through, and I'm going to make sure that a link to her Instagram is in the description down below as well. I've met her last year. We did a photo shoot, and this is one of the photos that we've taken. So let's continue. Right, so what I've done is I've made a duplicate, and that way I can just start over and still have the original file that I've had before. So make sure that your step is set to orientation and then hit the compress history stack. If you open up this photo, Darktable will automatically apply a base curve, and that's not what I want to use today. So let's continue. There are 3 ways that you can use the tone equalizer module. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to activate it. The first way is by using a simple tab, the second way by using an advanced tab, and the third way by using the masking tab. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hover around the image to see where the pixels are. So we've got the highlights which are under -1. We've got the bike -3.6. We've got the tire -4.4. And we've got -4.2 on the ground, which is pretty dark as well. Then the darkest area is -4.9. And her pants are -4.0. Now what you can do is just move these sliders around, as I'm doing right now, to increase the exposure in the pixel area, which connects to these values over here. That's one way. You can use a different way as well. I'm going to reset the parameter. You can just place your mouse on the part that you want to increase or decrease, and then scroll the mouse wheel button away from you to increase the exposure, or towards you to decrease the exposure. Obviously I want to make the tire a little bit more bright, but watch what happens on the right side. You see that everything is going upwards in huge increments. Now if you want to make sure that the steps aren't as big, let's reset that. You can hit the control and then scroll it, and now you see that it's starting to increase more gradually than when you just move your mouse wheel button around like this. So that's one way to work with this image and the tone equalizer module. Let me reset that. Let's go to the advanced tab. And in the advanced tab you have a histogram, and you've got a couple of nodes. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well maybe 6 nodes that cover the area of the image, the histogram. You can grab a node and just pull it up, and you see that the exposure is being increased. And if you move around the image, you will see a line moving from left to right or from right to left, which shows you where in this curve are the values that you're looking at right now. So obviously the bike is very dark, so it's more in this area. And if I move to the highlights, you see that it's moving on the right side of the histogram and of the advanced tab. So let me reset that. Okay, so somehow Darktable crashed. I couldn't get the histogram up again. I'm not quite sure what it is. I've shut Darktable down myself. It didn't crash automatically. But the tone equalizer module did make some pretty weird moves, because suddenly it's now gone, the histogram that is. And even if I activate it and deactivate it, I still didn't see a histogram. So I shut Darktable down. I've reopened it. If you know why this bug occurs, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's just quickly move on with this image. So we're back in the tone equalizer module. I've restarted Darktable, and now we've got a histogram again. So let's move on to the masking tab, and we've got a lot of options over here that I'm going to talk you guys through, but we're going to start with this part over here. And basically what this says, it's the mask histogram span between the first and last deciles. The central line shows the average orange bars appear at extrema if clipping occurs. What that means is that it covers this area from this side to that side, and if you go past -8 or +0, you will see a orange line. What I want to do is I want to utilize this area as good as possible. So for that, I'm going to the masking tab and I'm going to move around the mask exposure compensation. If I move it to the right, you see that things are starting to clip. And if I move it to the left, you see that it's now being dragged more to the left side, which means that the histogram is changing as well. Now this is very compact, very narrow. So to change that, you can use the mask contrast compensation, and it says use this to counter the averaging effect of the guided filter and dilate the mask contrast around -4 exposure. This allows to spread the exposure histogram over more channels for a better control of the exposure correction. And that's exactly what we want to do. So if you move it to the right side, it expands, and if you move it to the left side, it narrows down. So let's increase it a little bit, and let's go to the advanced tab and see what happens. And there you go. So now we've got more area which is being covered. I want to extend this a little bit, so I'm going to play around with it a little bit. There we go. I think this looks absolutely fine. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nodes that we can work with. We can stretch this out a little bit more, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to keep this as is. I'm going back to the masking tab, and if you experience halos by adjusting this image, you can use the smoothing diameter, and if you want to feather everything, you can use the edges, refinement, and feathering. And one tip I want to show you guys, if you start to adjust this image, so let's start with that. So we've got -6.4, 6.5, the wheel is -6, it shows where it is right now. We've got her, which is -3. We've got our face, which is in a -2, and then we've got the highlights over here. So let's increase the brightness of the bike. So I'm going to move this upwards. There we go. I'm going to do this manually. I'm going to increase the highlights a little bit as well. There we go. And now the bike is already a lot more bright than it was before. So we've really brought it out in comparison to what it was before. I'm going to bring it out just a little bit more. And what you need to do is, if you do this, you want to make sure that the curve is very smooth and you don't have big drops like this, because that can really affect your image and create some nasty halo effects or some harshness or whatever you want to call it. So let's bring that back, and this one as well. There we go. And now that we've used the tone equalizer module and we've used the mask version to spread everything out, the histogram, to make sure that we've got more nodes to work with, we're going to finish up on this image, and I'm going to show you guys how. So now that we've done that, I'm going to close this one down, and we're going to move on to the next, which is the tone curve module. I'm going to activate it, and I'm going to use 2 instances. The first one is for the overall image. So I want to bring up the shadows a little bit and the midtones. I'm going to keep the highlights as is. I don't see any clipping, but if you want to see if something is under or overexposed, you can use this symbol down below. It's the third from the left, which is the toggle over underexposed indication. Let's activate it, and you see that we've got a few overexposed areas over here. Maybe if we drop this point down, they start to disappear. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a second instance, a new instance. I'm going to scroll up a little bit for you guys so that you can see this. And I'm going to create a mask. And I'm not going to create any mask. I'm going to create a drawn mask, and I'm going to use the ellipse. I'm going to put it on her face. Now let's scroll in on her face a little bit. You can move these points inwards and outwards by just clicking on them. And if you want to rotate the entire mask, just hit the control and then move it around like you see happening right now. I'm going to decrease the feathering a little bit by hitting the shift and then scrolling the mouse wheel button away from me. I'm going to move the mask a little bit more upwards. There we go. Let's zoom out again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the brightness of her face a little bit, because that's where I want the focus to go in this image. Now let me scroll down and click this symbol, which is the show and edit mask elements. There we go. And you see that it looks kind of funny, but we're going to address that by just increasing the feathering radius There we go. So now it's gone, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, that looks great. Now let me show you guys before and after. So watch what happens to her face. I'm going to deactivate it. Now her face is a little bit more dull. I'm going to activate it. Now her face is a little bit more bright. And when you look at this image, your focus is immediately going to her face, and that's exactly what I want, even though it's a very great bike to look at as well. Now I'm just going to finish this one up. I'm going to add some local contrast, and I don't want to add too much contrast because you see that it's starting to get underexposed again. And when you shoot a photo of a female, you want her face to be a little bit more soft. Guys, portraits from guys, you can make sure that the face has a little bit more texture, it's a little bit more character, but with women you want to flatten it a little bit, you want to soften it to make it very elegant. So I'm going to address this just a little bit. Because I want to have a little bit more contrast in this image, but not too much, I'm going to hit this symbol, the uniformly one, and I'm just going to decrease the opacity to 50%. So we still added some local contrast, but not too much. And another thing I want to show you guys is a tip Todd gave me, Todd Prior. He made a couple of builds for me from darktable as well. You guys might have seen him in the comment section or on different forums and stuff like that. And what he said was, he said that you can use the color balance module to address the white balance by just using the color picker for the highlights. I'm going to show you guys that. So let's search for the color balance module. Let's open it up and let's activate it. And you see that we've got a couple of color pickers over here. I'm going to click this one, and now you see that the entire image is being selected, and I don't want the entire image to be selected. I just want the widest part of the image to be selected to change the white balance a little bit. So now it's more natural. It's got a little bit of a blue cast, but it was a fairly cold day as well, so that really matches with the day that we had while shooting this photo. And now for the final touch, I'm going to use two more modules. First, I'm going to address the noise. Let me show you guys, because we've got some noise in the colors over here. It looks horrible, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the denoise module. I'm going to use the profile one. I'm going to activate it, and boom, now the noise is gone. The thing with this is that if you use the denoise module, things start to get a little bit more soft. Now I'm going to show you guys a way to sharpen it without using the Sharpen module. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use the low pass module. Now let me zoom out again to fit the screen. There we go. I'm going to activate the low pass module. I'm going to increase the radius to make everything very, very blurry. And you can do this to around 124 or whatever you like, but make sure you put the contrast on 0, you put the saturation on 0, and now it looks absolutely horrible. Your image is gone. You're thinking, what am I doing? But we're going to use the uniformly, and we're going to change the blend mode from normal to overlay. There we go. And that has sharpened the image, and you can sharpen it some more by increasing the contrast by moving this to the left or to the right to decrease it. But I'm going to move it to the left just to increase the sharpening a little bit, not too much. And I'm going to keep the brightness as is because I like how this looks. But I am going to increase the saturation a little bit because that's what I want to do. If you have any difficulties with this because things are starting to slow down, just hit the right mouse button and then fill in the values manually, for instance. And that already looks a lot better. Let me show you guys before and after. I'm going to deactivate the module. So here's the image without the low pass module activated. Now let's do it again. And here we have the image with the low pass module activated. I'm going to click this toggle over and underexposed indicator so that it's not activated anymore because I saw a little bit of red dots and some blue dots. And then the final thing, basic adjustments. We're going to activate it. And I'm going to increase the black level to make sure that this is touching the left side. So I'm just going to increase it a little bit. And I'm going to increase some saturation again, just a little bit. And that's it. Here we have the end result. Let me take a snapshot. Let me show you guys what we started with once more. So we've got the orientation one, step 8. I'm going to click on the snapshot. I'm going to move this slider from the right to the left. And we've really brought this image to life. And in comparison, I'm going to show you guys the JPEG right now. So on the right side is the JPEG that my camera has created. So this is straight out of the camera. And then on the left side is what we've done to the image using darktable. And I think that the image that we created with darktable is far more better and usable than the image that the camera has made by itself. This was shot on a Panasonic GH5, but it's one of the reasons why I always shoot in RAW, to make sure that I am my own director over the images that I process. And I hope I explained the tone equalizer module to you guys very quickly, very swiftly, and in a way that everybody can understand it. If I went too fast, let me know in the comment section down below. If you've got questions, let me know in the comment section down below as well. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible, or people out of my community will respond to them, because the Darktable community is very active and very helpful when it comes to questions. I loved working on this image. Thank you very much once again for using this image. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to put her Instagram in the description down below. I'm going to make sure that this photo is available for you guys in the description down below. And for this week, there's only one more thing left for me to say, which is make love to the like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Hit that bell button to be the first to be notified when I drop in a video. And until next time, doei!